Hannah, how are you? Hey, Juno. Oh my God. I love it. So this is definitely the double whammy. I have both of you beautiful ladies before me right now. Hannah, listen, love it. My first question to you is, episode 6, why did you leave that man's house without asking his name and getting his number?
Leave them wanting more, which he clearly did.
What was the best part of your character, Rebecca, aside from the fashion and the looks in the entire series, right?
Rediscovery, I would say. Rediscovering her own identity, which was 100%. She had allowed it to be trampled. And I firmly believe that she had allowed herself to be indoctrinated by someone. And that was the biggest thing. Moving into season 3, I was so thrilled to have the brilliant Anthony Head back, because I didn't have that toxic energy with me in season 2, and I missed it, because so much of who Rebecca was or is fighting against that toxic energy and finding her own way again, you know, that clash. So yeah, I mean, she's in my heart forever. She really is.
I love it. And you know, your character took a different turn, love and relationship wise, when you first came across this like plot twist.
Oh, it's been there from the beginning. That's a part of Keeley's history.
She's almost mounted Rebecca
multiple times. Yeah. So I feel it was a journey that felt very natural. I think the thing that was interesting about it is seeing this relationship between these two women, you know, fall apart ultimately because of a personal video that gets leaked, and Jack's father can't get behind it. And it was a painful thing to have a woman not be allowed to be the boss that she wants to be because she's got a parent that's overseeing something. And the kind of, you know, I think the impact of that was very clear, and I thought that was really brilliantly handled. And Jeudy was so great in that moment where she had to leave. It's not that she necessarily wanted to. And again, it, you know, fed into Keeley's journey and her growth this year, and definitely coming back to somebody that she trusts to help her.
I love the bit that we got to do when the KJPR is going under and Rebecca, you know, helps her out there. It's a really gorgeous moment. It just means that they are constantly evolving as a pair, and you just don't get to see that very often. Yeah. Still, ridiculously, in 2023, we are an unusual pairing.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. It's like Thelma and
Girls
Louise.
have got to hold girls up, man.
This is true. And we're going to close out with that. It was such a pleasure chatting with the both of you. Thank you.
How you doing?
I am doing excellent. So I absolutely love your character. I'm not just saying that.
You are just saying that.
I am not just saying that. I promise you.
Okay.
Your energy was so calm, such a mannerable demeanor throughout the entire season 3, 2, and 1, right? How does that translate over into your real life and who you are as an individual?
Wow,
we're going a little personal.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If there is a similarity in that calmness, then I think I'm quite quiet. Like in my own sort of world, I don't feel the need to kind of fill the space too much. I quite like seeing what happens, and you know, I'll still be there, still show up, and you know, represent. But I don't feel the need to fill the space, and I think that Trent rightfully doesn't do that in season 3, because you know, he's just there to observe. But I think there maybe is a crossover there. I quite like just, you know, letting everyone do their thing.
And why was it important for you to say yes to taking on this opportunity in general, even from the very beginning? What made you say yes to being a part of this series?
You know what? I've been doing this a long time now, and when I look at the cover of a script, I kind of know instantly if it's something that excites me. And this one did, and then I read the first page, and it was really, really well written and really funny, and so that was it. I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And then when I saw those two words, Trent Crimm, double M, which somehow made it even better than just one M, I was like, who is that? And I just had this kind of draw to find out who he was, and I was just kind of curious about him, and so that was really it. You know, it was the material. I just knew that it was quality and knew that I wanted to be a part of it.
Before I let you go, any special episode that stood out the absolute most for you throughout season 3? I'm sure all of them, you know, means tremendously a lot. But if you can choose one, what's that special episode for you?
Oh my God. I mean, I gotta say, I loved episode 11 when we go to Manchester and meet Jamie Tartt's mum. She was everything. Because she she was like a mixture of just so inappropriately kind of sexy, but also like really, really maternal. And you kind of get it. You're like, you just get why Jamie Tartt would just want to run home to his mum and put his head on her, chest. And the love that was in that relationship, I thought was really amazing. And then you see him, and he goes and he smashes it on the pitch. And then that whole situation with his dad not being there, and then you see that actually he's in rehab. Just that one shot. I mean, that's storytelling when you just look at one shot with no words, and you see the guy. And I was like, whoa, tears. Too much. Too much.
So perfect for TV.
Yeah.
Listen. All right. It was such a pleasure chatting with you today, and congratulations on everything. First of all, I love your suit.
Thank you. It's
Yeah, let's get into the fashion. Kid Super SS23.
See, I keep calling it Kid Rich, but it's Kid Super. sorry, kid.
All right. Listen. So obviously you're one of the lead characters like throughout the series. Tell me, what did it take for you to commit to this role, and not only commit to your role, but to tap into it the way in which you did? You lived in your character. What did that take for you?
A lot of money. Yeah. Dosh, Wonga, Spondulix, whatever you want to call it. I'm joking. No. It took me a lot of time to go back to my roots, because I used to play football before, and I had to get back into the kind of mode, because I was the captain of my school team. So I had to get back in my mode and kind of like dust off the rust, dust off my boots and all that. Yeah, so it took a bit, but we got there in the end.
Listen, so that's interesting, because is it safe to say that this was somewhat of a passion project for you?
Yeah, in the beginning, of course. In the beginning, it was a passion project, but after the success, it turned into something more. Mm-hmm. So it turned into family, it turned into friends, it turned into all that. Yeah, great.
All right, thank you so much, Kola. It was nice chatting with you. The character in season 3. What is it that the viewers who have yet to check out this series, what is it that they can expect to see with your character throughout the season?
Well, he is always the person with the ideas. He motivates the team. He manages and coordinates incredibly well. Doesn't always get the praise or acknowledgement for it. So he did that, of course, in season 2, because he got an uplift at the end of season 1 from when Ted waved his magic wand, really, and forgave Rebecca, and she realised she had to forgive Higgins. So there was all that good stuff going around, and that's what happens in the show, and I think what the show does to people as well, incidentally, that it makes them think in a more positive way and feel more confident and warmer to other people. I've totally gone off piste with your question. But yeah, he does a bit more of that, and he does a few more funny throat sounds, inevitably. I love the fact that he's very earnest, but still awkward. I love having little scenes with Hannah, because there's always a little squabble in there somewhere. The power dynamic is still there, but it's a little bit more subtle. So there's lots of that. There's lots of that kind of fun to be had.
So invite me on set. What in the world is it like being on set filming with this cast? I can only imagine like how much energy is going on behind the scenes and behind the curtains. Like, how difficult is it, or was it, to get the work done?
That was epic.
Well, it is a work environment. It's not just like, well, we're all having such a bold turnover, and there's a lot of finessing that goes on from the writers. As you may or may not know, that scripts change a lot, but more in this season than ever before. And after about the first 2 episodes, I gave up learning the scenes until the day, because I would get a ping on the phone at 7 o'clock in the morning in the car on the way to the set.
Being given the opportunity.
Script scene totally changed quite often, or abbreviated, or whatever, or extended. I would change again from makeup chair to going on to set. So that's the work side of it, and depending on the texture and of the scene, there would be improv, or sometimes the tough work is like in the locker room scenes when there's loads of sick people who've got to be covered. When you've got 11 people who've got to have a little fun line in there, it can take 6 hours to do a 2-page scene, So, as everybody's got a winning sense of fun, even I've been on other sets where that would be very tough, but because everybody's sort of warm and up for it, and they know the show, the appeal of the show, that gets us lifted, to do the scene.
And would you have imagined in a million years that this series will will in as much success as it has? I mean, 156 award nominations, 76 award wins. Yes, 11 of those wins are actually Primetime Emmy Awards.
Yeah.
Could you have ever imagined this much success coming from the Ted Lasso series?
No, I mean, it'd be sort of maybe narcissistic to kind of, I feel, to kind of try and guess what the public. I mean, everybody's been down that road at some point, so every actor has gone, I think this is going to really, and it isn't. But I think beyond all the incredible figures which you just remembered, not just remembered, you had them there at your fingertips. I think the fact that it sort of keeps reverberating into the world, and because it's streaming, people still discovering it, and it's still affecting people, and then they watch it again, and it's word of mouth, and more people watch it, and they take to it, and pretty much everybody says thank you. When I meet people, the commonality is that they put their hand on their heart, that they literally put their hand on their heart and say, this has meant so much to me and my family, and that's very humbling, really. I just feel very privileged to be part of a show that did that. I never thought in my lifetime that I'd be in a show that did that. I've never known a show that has done that either. So it's unique. There won't be anything. Are you doing me?
Yeah, I'm doing you.
Oh,
of all of the people I could have.
Are you doing me?
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you. Okay, so talk to me about the evolvement from season 1 up until season 3 with your character, because there have been a lot of different changes, with you being
growing
great
hair
change.
in different places.
Exactly. Yes. Talk to me about that and how your character has evolved, over the past, I believe, almost 3 years.
I know.
I'm surprised.
I think it's one thing that I think has been really cool with his progression has been that he's thought that he was the teacher. People who have that level of narcissism think that they are the one to tell everyone what life should be like. And what we see through moments with Keeley, through Ted, through Roy, he learns to be the taught. He learns to be the person who is being taught. And it's such a humbling process for him, and it's a really difficult thing because he's thought up until now he needs to be Teflon coated, he needs to be right all the time, and we see in season 1 when Dani Rojas turns up, he needs to beat him in order to be the best version of himself. But when Zaba turns up in season 3, it's a very similar situation. He thinks we need to be part of the team. And so that's a lovely example of that sort of progression that he has. But yeah, it was a real joy to do. I mean, it was great. It was a really well written arc, so I was very lucky to play it. Yeah.
Let's go a little personal. How do you relate to your character personally in real life?
Well, I guess we don't have dress sense in common. we don't have levels of confidence in common. He's definitely, I think he probably smells better or like stronger than I do, and like he probably puts a lot of stuff on. But I don't know, man. It's an interesting one because I don't think that I am that all that similar to him. He is very like direct in how he feels about things. Yeah, and it's kind of like it's very refreshing. I think it's like an interesting side of narcissism where he is very like into himself, but also like through that he has a lot of introspection. He's able to look at himself, and he uses that in later seasons. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's something that I would like to think that I have in some sense, that I try to like think of all the things that I'm bad at and like try and and there's a lot, but yeah, and also probably his love of sick beats. Yeah, love sick beats. I'm a big fan of sick beats.
You heard the man. You heard him straight from his mouth. Congratulations on everything. It was a pleasure chatting with you, okay? Thank you so much. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So you have to tell me, what did it take for you to tap into your character the way in which you did throughout all of the seasons 1, 2, and 3?
How was the season 3 for my character?
How was it for you?
Season 1 from
What did it take for you to like really live in your character,
okay.
you know?
Well, I've learned something really cool from the writers, that they write really towards who we are as people. So I think that's why the characters feel so alive, and that's why people love them truly, because it's generally who we are as people. And I think I'm grateful that I'm from Guadalajara, Mexico, and from day one they let me put that out there, just say from Guadalajara, and some of the things I love and speak, they put them there. And Dani has grown from being a charismatic guy that loves the game and being someone that has an existential crisis and feels more of a human, and then in season 3 a very competitive guy, but also who is a lover and so with love, and I think yeah, it's been many different moments, and I'm grateful with everyone.
Do you want to know one of my favorite scenes with you? On the airplane, I believe it was episode 8, when you guys were chosen to go back home and play with your team, and you took the bag of Doritos out of his hand and like crushed them. Take me back to that scene. Like, let's talk about that scene.
Well, that scene works because also Moe Jeudy, who plays Zorro, is so funny and amazing, and he gives me so many great moments. But there was so much improv there. There were some shots where the Doritos flew. There were other moments where I go back with the guy who's sitting next to me, and I go like this, and he was like that. Yes. So I hope there's a bloopers video, because there's so many more moments in general in all of the seasons. But yeah, we worked that scene with Matt Lipsy, the director, and he's so amazing too, and funny, and yeah, it was Joe Kelly there giving me feedback, and it worked out perfect. And I'm glad it gave Dani some other moments that people didn't expect. Yeah. Because when he represents his country, he's serious. He's serious. He's not playing.
Serious. But I mean, that's a real thing in the sports industry, right? Like one minute you're playing with a teammate, and the next minute, like that teammate is somewhat of a competitor. You know, like that's sports.
Yeah. And I think generally in life, every time I am outside of my country, I try to give my best so that people feel proud of who I am, and that make people want to go to Mexico, to Guadalajara, and have a good time there.
Yes. So let's tap into that word proud. What would you say has been your proudest moment working on this series in general?
My proudest moment has been when the show has come out, and the people, well, 2 moments, like when people have just approached us saying how much the show has changed their lives, and how much Dani has meant to them, and with tears in their eyes, and that has given me the realization of how the importance we have in what we do. We can change people's life, and that's been a very proud moment. And when my family saw the show, that was a very proud moment. When I saw it with my friends in Guadalajara, but also as a Mexican and a Latino, when people have told me that it's just good to see people that look like us, that are playing characters, and we are being represented in a positive way. And that all of those moments have made me feel very proud, and I'm grateful with Jason, Brenda, and Joe, Bill, and the writers for letting me be part of this.
Yes. So before I let you go, I want to talk Emmy Awards because we're months away from the actual award ceremony and weeks, somewhat days away from nominations. How optimistic are you this Emmy season? Because you guys have definitely
Woo!
Yeah, right. Seriously, you've been doing amazing, and predictions are extremely high when it comes to not only key cast members but the series in general.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts around the Emmys?
Well, with these things you never know, but I believe, I believe in our season. I believe in what the writers did, and I think hopefully we'll be there as well, celebrating with everyone, and like Ted says, it's not about the wins or losses, it's about just the journey and getting the best out of the people, and Ted's Lasso and all the previous awards we've won and nominations, and the fans' reaction have made us much better people and artists, and happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Congrats on everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When you put the voice over some things, and I see how applied he is, and the time we took just to make everything perfect for the fans. You have no idea the time that we spent on this. For even something that you'd say insignificant, that's 1 or 2 seconds on the screen. Spent 25 minutes on this, just on the breathing. I mean, we really did our best with our hearts, and Jason on top of it. So, yeah. But like season 1, like I said.
I love the fact that you pointed out that this has been your first project, right? So, big television project. That really set a high bar. So with that being said, is there any particular key takeaway that you will always pull from working on this project and implement moving forward on other projects that you work on? If there was one thing that you can say that you would take with you.
It's hard to say. It's like when you learn a language, like 3 years ago I was still speaking like this, so what would you take to take this and talk a little more like this, a little more? What have you learned? I mean, there's 100 of things. So when you're on set with Jason and the guys, the way they see things, the ideas they have, the time they take just to think, I mean, it's all of these that I take and I see, okay, they work like this, and in the end the result is really not too bad. So there's many things, and the thing I would take is be professional, be polite, even if it's Jason and a little runner with an internship. Hi, nice to meet you. Hello, good day, goodbye. Always be respectful, be pro, take your time, and don't never take the job for granted, because they don't. Joe and everything, they don't. So I would never do it.
I love that. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much.
It was a real experience, and that felt so personally for me such a round circle, just spiritually as well, because the first theater I ever performed in Amsterdam was also the theater where Boom Chicago, the improv theater where Jason, Brandon, and Joe Kelly met, was. So that was the theater where I performed for the first time, and I kind of got lost that night, and I just cycled over the streets and didn't dare to call my mom because I was a bit ashamed of not having everything together, And so going back there and filming in Amsterdam was just a surreal experience where I just really boosted the belief in myself, and just what the show praises. That really, because I always thought on theater school of working outside of the Netherlands, and it's a bit I felt it wasn't always believed, and that's what I really love about American culture as well, that you're dream big, you go for it and do it and spread your wings. And so that was very, very special to be able to do that and have that with such an amazing group of people.
So talk to me about sports. Do you have any special relationship or connection within the sports industry from your previous life, or was this just like a first go round for you?
No, I've always been in love with sports. Yeah, I never actually played in a football team, but I always used to play with my friends on the street, and on a football pitch. But volleyball used to be my sport. I used to do volleyball for 9 years. I loved it. Very close club in a village where I used to grow up in the north of the Netherlands, called the Meeuwen. Shout out.
Shout out.
And I loved that kind of club feeling. And yeah, I did tennis, I did Muay Thai. I always loved to be sportive, but like team sports are really, and for me volleyball was really like a special kind of feeling, because you just go, you travel together, you have matches together, and it's such a great feeling. Yeah, brotherhood, definitely. Yeah, also growing up, going through puberty, your body like growing, and just experiencing that together, and just feeling how you get stronger as well. It's a really great thing while growing up. Yeah, so team sports I've always loved them.
Let's have a little fun really quick. If you could trade places with either of the coaches, you have to choose someone. Which coach would you like to be? Which one speaks? Actually, this is going to be a two-part question. Which one of your coaches would you like to be, and which coach do you think fits more so of your real life personality and character?
Well, to play in real life. Okay, because that's a different one. Yeah. Well, in real life, I would love to be the stats man. I love to be Coach Beard, and to know all the stats, and to act, I would say Roy Kent, because yeah, but that wasn't your question. Your question was which one I would like to be, and also what was the second?
Which one is most like your personality and character in real life?
Oh, most. Well, then I would say,
You like this question.
I love this question. Yeah, I love this question. I was gonna say Nate, but he's not really a coach. Well, he turns into a coach. Well, I kind of love awkward situations in real life. Sometimes I kind of look for them, and just to see it as an exercise to embrace the awkwardness, And I think Nick Mohammed is just a master of awkwardness. Like these little things he does, I find them amazing. So I reckon that would be. But yeah, I love the inspirational side, of course, of Ted. But yeah, Nate would be my answer, I think.
We're closing it out with Nate.
Yes.
It was such a pleasure chatting with you. Congrats on everything, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
It is going amazing. How's it going for both of you superstars this evening?
On our smart outfit tonight.
Of course, and I am absolutely loving the outfits. Let me just go straight in. I need to know, what in the heck has it been like to work on such a magical project and series, especially behind the scenes?
I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, as I was saying, to friends before, it's been 3 and a bit years of my life really on this, all encompassing. But I've made so many. The show is about relationships and friendships and positivity, and I've made so many friends working on this show, which I don't do on other things in the same way. I've been on set many times. I've been out to dinner with lots of people. Been to events. It's become like a family really. And so it's a great feeling to be working. I'm really sad it's sort of, ending really. But made, just so many amazing people have been working on this show, and it's just a delight to be involved with it really. Yeah.
I think it's made a lot of people happy. Like I said a couple of sort of minutes ago, I've weaseled my way into this show at the last call, like Last Call Saloon on the second to last episode, singing my head off, and I count myself incredibly fortunate, because
I'd say it's my favourite thing I've seen on TV. What it embodies and what it radiates out into the world, I think is incredibly important, and it helps a lot of people. And to sing just for a few bars on something like that, to a backdrop like that, is something that I'll never forget or take for granted. So big up to Tom, the team, Jason, Jamie Hartman, our co-writer of the song. It's my favourite song I've been a part of as well, like in this project that I'm grateful enough to be doing, so yeah.
And it's so interesting because obviously this is a sports related series. How does one come up with lyrics in a song for a series around sports? That's so interesting to me. Like, where does that inspiration come from, the creativity? Where does it come from? Yeah.
So when I was writing Jamie and Tom had come up with a concept and then had started writing the song, and then I came in with Jamie in the studio to finish it off. And when I was writing parts, I had a totally different idea in my mind of what the song would go to on the picture. I thought naturally it would be something about the team losing, doing their best but ultimately losing, but the takeaway is we tried our hardest and we never gave up. So I was writing to this, and then you see it used in the show, totally not that, and it's so much more complex and intelligent and important and actually real and relatable. But it goes to show that these the way that we are inspired by lyric and what we draw from in our lives, it transcends what you think it should go to. We can find these little hooks that connect us in so many different things, whether you intended it or not.
Let's talk Emmys, because obviously we're months away from the Emmy Awards and we're clearly in FYC season. What would an Emmy Award nomination and or win mean to the both of you?
I mean, it would be huge. We work really hard on this, and we feel that we really hope it's in contention.
Do you have your speech ready?
You should have. I've got a good feeling. He's not going to say it. I've got a good feeling.
The speech is ready. Really stunning. How are you today, beautiful? Oh my God. So you have to tell me, you've been doing this television thing for quite some time. You are not old. You are just magical. Listen, you've been a part of, I believe, 171 projects at this point in your career. What has made this particular Ted Lasso series different from all of the other series and blockbuster films that you've been a part of?
I think there is no cynicism involved in it. It's done with a true heart, and I think the audience sense that. And it's meant a lot to the audiences. I know it hit at COVID and people were in a particular place, but I get fans writing saying that their wife's going through cancer treatment and they all sit on the bed together and they all cry together and laugh together, and it's really important to them. I had a driver the other day who said, during COVID everyone had their bubbles. I just moved, I didn't have a bubble. Ted Lasso was my bubble. And so to be in something that's really had a kind of effect on humanity is extraordinary, to get that from...
What are some of the key takeaway moments that are so memorable to you about this series? I can only imagine how many there are, truly, but if you can give me 2 or 3, that would be fantastic.
It's not judgmental, that dartboard scene, and also because I'm a bit of a policewoman and go, why are they doing that? And just to think, be curious, don't judge them. Just what would it open things up for me as Annette?
And you are an award-winning TV star. Let's be clear, you definitely are. What would an Emmy Award mean to you for this particular project?
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Me saying I'm a little old lady, to get an Emmy at my mature years would be just wonderful, and I just think it deserves it. It's whole. It's intelligent. It's emotionally intelligent. It's funny. You know, it has so much in it, and has meant, as I say, so much to people.
And before I let you go, any wise words or advice?
Absolutely.
No wise.
I'm 4.5 years old inside. I have no wise words. Laugh, have fun.
Listen, and I am absolutely going to stop there. It was such a pleasure chatting with you today. Congratulations. Amazing suit. The question is, how are you? I'm doing good. So listen, I am going right in with the gusto. If you could trade places with any of the leading cast members, who would that person be? Let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
And why?
Okay, I said it last. I said Jimmy Lance last time as Trent Crimm, but I'm not going to say that again. But I still would, but I'm not going to say it again. I would go for. Oh, you know what? I said this today actually. It was controversial. Rupert Mannion. Anthony Head, Rupert Mannion, just because I'd love to play a villain. It'd be such like a lovely contrast to Will Kidman as well, who's like the polar opposite of everything that Rupert believes in, no pun intended. And that would be a really, really nice turn of events. But maybe not nice, but like it'll definitely be a turn of events anyway. But yeah.
I love it. So obviously this series is beyond words, right? I'm sure that you know that you guys today have received 156 award nominations. You won 76 awards, 11 of which are Primetime Emmy Awards. What are your hopes Yes, across all of the seasons. What are your hopes for season 3 in this upcoming Emmy season? Are you optimistic?
I biasly am optimistic, but as well, even if we get 0 nominations or anything, just the amount of like resonation it's had with the fans is enough for me. Like, we wanted to create something special, something to give people hope, something to resonate with, and I feel like we've accomplished that after seeing the response as well. And yeah. I heard my name. Hello. You're right. Hey, I feel like certain people definitely should get nominated in their respective parts this season, especially like for the likes of Jason again, obviously, Billy as Colin, Phil Dunster, Jamie Tart. I feel like they'll all do the right thing.
If you had to choose season 1, 2, or 3, I'm putting you in the hot seat. Which season would you say has been your absolute best season to work on? Or do you have a special episode that stands out the absolute most?
Well, hey, I loved episode 6 of this season, which was in Amsterdam, just because it was taking the Ted Lasso love and chemistry that all the people and the players had, and then taking that and putting that into somewhere else and seeing how everyone would adapt to that surrounding. And it was just seeing a whole new side of every single person, which nobody had seen before, and that was really exciting to do. And obviously it was a trip to Amsterdam as well, which I'd never been before, which was ace. Yeah.
So I couldn't think of anyone who has not checked out this series, right? I mean, if they've not tapped into it, like, that's insane to me, right? We absolutely do not associate with them. That being said, what is it that those viewers who have yet to check out the series, what is it that they can expect to see with your character this season?
My character?
Absolutely.
They can expect unexpected laughs, 100%. They may get a bit emotional in some parts as well, if I did my part right. Honestly, just a whole lot of love, not just for myself, but everyone as well. Yeah.
Such a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on season 3. You enjoy your evening. Thank you. Just stepping up here looking all fly. Yes, please leave that shirt with me. The breeze.
I'll send it to you.
Yes, I love it. So tell me, how are you feeling today? Let's just go straight in.
Feeling great. Of course, you know, the end is the finale of the season. I mean, I say a couple of days ago, I felt, wow, okay, we've done something so special. We've done a huge thing from season 1 to season 3. Feeling good, but thank you for asking me how I'm feeling. That's a really good question. Yeah, absolutely. How are you feeling? You feeling good? Feeling great.
It's always a good thing when someone asks me.
It's not rain. It's all good. So the clouds are a bit like London, but we move.
So listen, you have to take me behind the scenes. I want to know what was happening on set. any special like mishaps, like weird moments, like unbelievable good and bad, like things that you guys experience, like working on set? Share those with me.
Do you know what a Nerf gun is? Like one of those things like... Do you know who Tahib Jimmo is? Yeah, that guy, every single, like pretty much every morning, that guy would just like, you'd be eating your breakfast, it'd be like 6, 7 a.m, he would just come in, pop, like that, and be like, oh, morning Tahib. And then we would do this thing, like if someone was going to get their food, we had like my room, Moe Jeudy-Lamour's room, Kola's room, Tahib's room down there. If someone went out and left for like 20 minutes, maybe to do a costume change or something, we would completely change their room. Like we would have their sofa, we'd turn it over, we'd put their table, we'd put their shoes on the ceiling, like that was it, you know. And we all got it done to us, you know. So we were always pranking each other on set, and that's the one thing I miss the most is like lunch times on set, down our little corridor with all the football boys, because everyone would come and join us because we were just really good vibes.
What has it taken for you to tap into your character the way in which you have? Because clearly 3 seasons in, countless episodes, your character is definitely a lead key character, right? Let's talk about that commitment, the commitment that you have, put forward in your character.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that this was going to be a story in season 2, so I was kind of like pretty much organically preparing for it, but it was a lot. I feel like last year was like a huge dedication of my life to Colin, and making sure I got that right, and loving and respecting him, and feeling sad when he felt sad, and and feeling happy and elated and relief when he felt relief. So it was a lot, and a lot of it as well was like things that weren't said, and it was all like because he had to keep silent in the locker room, and there was a lot of it was done. I tried to do a lot on like breath and just like eye work, because like I'm having to say things but not say things, but just through his eyes, like the camera will pan, you're like, Colin will be feeling a way about this. So that was a really, really, good, a good challenge for an actor. But I just wanted to get it right, and then, and then the words came, like in Amsterdam, and the speeches with Trent Crimm and everything like that. So it was a lot, but I'm pleased. I'm really relieved that the storyline has come out and so many people have loved it.
So let's talk really quick before I let you go on LGBT and diversity on the big screen, right? Why do you feel like it's so important for us to display, such diversity in the LGBT community, throughout television series, blockbuster films, so on and so forth? Why is it important?
It's like it's representation. Everyone wants to feel represented in their favorite TV show, and if we put Ted Lasso down to like its bare bones, it is like a work-based comedy. So in a workplace there are LGBTQ people. There are that. So people want to see themselves on the screen, and they want to see issues that they felt personally being tackled and being challenged. So Ted Lasso has tackled so many issues throughout the years, and I'm really, really blessed to have been a part of that.
You played such a phenomenal character. Congratulations on everything, and it was such a pleasure chatting with you. Congrats. Please send me the shirt. Send me the shirt. If I'm not mistaken, you previously worked on a project years ago that was also sports related. Talk to me about your relationship in the sports industry.
It's when I was a kid, I was always sick, and when I got out of the hospital when I was I think 12, 13, I was very, very skinny and very weak, and so I promised myself that I was going to work out and I was going to be bigger. And fast forward to college, I'm playing American football, and I scored the fastest time and most explosive receiver, and I was like benching the most and all of that. And then so yeah, just athleticism always had a big part of my life after that. And then I get this audition to play an Olympian, and Jason plays my coach, and then so then we just stayed in touch. We became friends, and then this thing comes around, and so we're back together doing almost the same thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So for those individuals who have yet to tap into the series, I couldn't imagine who has not checked out the series, right? Let's be clear. What is it that they can expect to see with your character?
With my character, I feel like from season 1 to season 3, especially season 3, episode 11, a big difference in my game. And also So even off the cameras, it was so like I had to take a lot of coaching. I had to get better at what I was doing because honestly, I had never played the sport, so it was very, very hard for me to get better at stopping the ball. And so like I took a coach. They also gave me great coaches, and so season 3 I came in and I was ready to go, and it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So I believe it was season 8. One of my favorite scenes with you was the airplane scene. When you guys were chosen to go back and play for your home team, right? Your teammate was mad tripping. I'm just thinking about when you had that bag of Doritos and you offered him some chips and he took them and crumbled them up. Talk to me about this scene.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Also, I knew since season 1 that I was supposed to have a thing with my nose. I was going to be broken and I was going to have a mask. And so I was like, I can't wait to see how they're going to weave that into the story. And it was the best way because me and Cristo, Dani, we were boys the whole time, and then they made it so perfectly that it was a friend of mine that was going to break my nose, but in that time he's not a buddy of mine, and so it was so much fun. And Cristo committed so much to that part; it was a blast. It was so much fun to film.
Before I let you go, what would you say has been most unique about working on this project in comparison to others that you've worked on in the past?
We were together for so long that we became real friends, and so our group chats are always on fire, and we always roast all of each other and stuff. We've been on vacation together. It's I've never had this experience with anything else, and so I'm blessed to have new friends and another country that I can go to and visit and see my friends.
And what are you going to miss most about the series? Something other than your cast members who are now your friends. Give me something else.
Easy answer. Something I'm going to miss most about it's just going to London, being in London for so long, having a completely different experience. It was such a blast. So I'm really going to miss it, and hopefully I'll go back.